Nathan Cox, thanks for joining us around the home. Okay, today I want to show you guys how to rebuild a screen. That's not only like screen materials to shop, like if the corner pieces are broken and stuff like that. This is just shy of building a brand new screen altogether. But let's just jump down here, and first I'll show you how bad our screen is and the stuff we're going to need today to get it fixed. Okay, a good place to work is just on a table, like a kitchen table. I've got a towel down so don't scratch anything up. Okay, our screen is looking pretty rough here. I mean, the screen material, it's just really, it's just gone. And then you can see these corners. Well, a couple of the corners are even broken out. Okay, now some of the things we're going to need that we got here is we do have some new spline. You don't always need new spline. Sometimes you're going to reuse the old one. I've got, a big roll of fiberglass screen. And then, of course, we got some corners. And then this is not necessary, but I wanted to show you guys anyways. I have some pull tabs and spring clips right here, okay? Now tools, what do we need? Well, a couple of straight screwdrivers. I have a skinnier, thinner one, and then more of a little thicker one here. Nice. You don't really need both of them necessarily, but it's nice to have the choice. I've got a good utility knife with a clean blade, ready to go, and a screening tool, okay? This works the spline and the screen material. Some you'll see have just one wheel. This one has two, and this one here I won't be able to see on the camera, but one is concaved angle in the wheel. It's cut in, and this one's rounded out. Okay, and then there's a reason for having both wheels, but it really is more for the aluminum screen. It's not really necessary for the fiberglass. I'll explain that in a little bit. So the frame itself is intact, so I'm not going to cut new frame. That's going to be the one of the things we definitely reuse is the aluminum frame. So we're going to start by, I guess, just grabbing the broken corners right there out. And we're going to carefully pull the spline out. And if you want to know what spline you're going to need, if you want to replace it, that's obviously a good way to do it. That is to pull it out and take it to the store. Now, at this point, I probably would have normally said on my other videos, hey, the stuff we're using here is available on Amazon. I'll have Amazon links in the description down below. Please click and help support our channel. But there's not a lot of this that's really, I'll have a couple Amazon links on there. But for the most part, I recommend just going to your local hardware store for this one. Lowe's, Menards, Home Depot, Ace Hardware, whatever. You're going to be better off. And Lucy's snoring up a storm over there, so I apologize. Anyways, we're going to set that to the side. And let's get this screen out of here. You do want to get it out of the channel. Make sure it comes out. Sometimes it gets really bad and it gets stuck in there. And if it gets stuck in there and you try to, put the new spline and screen in, it just creates more stuff in there, so it makes things not fit right. So let's just get everything cleaned out. And then, yep, that tells me to need a good washing. And these corners you see are very simple. They just slip out. Make sure there's no broken pieces in the frame. Okay, so the corners come in different colors. The ones I'm familiar with are white, brown, and gray. Okay, and then these will have a more finished side and kind of more of a hollow side. It doesn't matter which way it goes. The hollow side needs to go up with where the open channel is, okay? And it really should only go one way because it has this extra fin right here, and then that's going to go inside here. So it really should only fit one way. I don't think you're going to really accidentally put it the wrong way in. And then also the channel is followed in the inside corner of the plastic. And then that's pretty simple. I mean, they just, as long as you got them the right direction, they're just going to push in. And you want to make sure they're pushed in all the way, obviously, so that the frame fits back together right in the window. If you feel like it's really tight, a lot of times just a little wiggling will benefit you better than pure brute strength. It's probably binding a little bit, and that's why it's stuck. Okay. Alright, 4 new corners. That's easy enough. Okay, now even though I'm not planning on using these guys here for this project, because it did have pull tabs, but my friend, this is my friend's screen, said he didn't need them. I'll show you how to use them. Okay, your pull tabs will all have where on the side it goes down and then back out. And that's just going to sit right inside that channel there. Okay, and obviously that's going to make it harder to put the screen and spline over it. It's going to require a little extra, a little extra finagling. But that's how they go in, if you want those. Now, what about a spring? What if your window needs a spring tensioner, so when you push it in, it pushes it back and keeps it tight? Alright, so for that, I'll pull apart a corner here and show you. It's pretty simple. So there's a spring, right? You got this little piece down here. So it's going to go right there, so it's on top of the, on top of the frame there. And then the corner is going to go back in, which is obviously going to make this tighter. But there you go. And there's your spring clip. Now this screen does have something else. It does have these little locking, locking spinning clips, I guess you'll call them. And you can buy those as well. These are riveted in, so for you to replace them, you need just to drill out the rivet and then place the new one in place, and then there's the screws that come with it. Okay, I've got a piece of leftover screen here. So first we're going to size it out and make sure that it's big enough. And it's definitely big enough. Now you want to have a few inches of overhang on every side. And if you don't, you're going to cut yourself short because it will stretch and move as you put the spline in. So, give yourself 2+ inches on every side. And then after I've cut it, I'm going to double check and make sure nothing went wrong while I cut it. And yes, I definitely have enough room there. Okay, now we're going to look at the spline. Okay, and let's see, I have the 0.140, and there's going to be like a number of different thicknesses. This is the fiberglass. This is generally one of the thinner screens. Your aluminum typically is a little thicker, so you may want a little bit slightly thinner spline. And then if you get the PET screen, which is a really, really thick, basically fiberglass, then you need an even thinner spline yet to make everything fit right. Now you're going to want to start in one of the corners and just pick a corner. It doesn't really matter, which corner. You want to make sure your screen is squared up. Try to make sure, for appearance sake, that the rows and columns are running parallel with the frame. Try to square that up. Don't go crazy. I know some guy that went crazy OCD on this and would pull the screen apart a couple times if the lines on the screen weren't perfectly in line with the frame. Try not to. This can get people with OCD. The screens can be really frustrating. Try not to make it more than it is. Starting here in the corner, that's what your screwdriver's for. And you're just going to carefully, without pinching yourself here, push this spline and screen into the groove and get it started. Okay, we're also going to use this on the corners. That's how we're going to turn the corners. Okay. All right, you want to take your spline and give yourself a little bit of feed here down the whole row or line, anyways, whatever you want to call it. Now your tool, your spline tool. I told you it's got two ends, one that's concaved where it's dipped in and one where it's not. If this was an aluminum screen, okay, you would want to take the end that's curved outward and carefully roll the screen and basically bend it into the groove. That's what that one's used for. If you're using aluminum, that's what you're going to do. You want to do the whole run here and just lightly. It's going to take a few times to do it. If you push real hard and try to do it quickly, you'll cut the screen. Once you cut the screen, you got to cut a new piece of screen, then you've ruined it. Now that we have the one that's, this one's curved inward, and that way it helps to roll on the spline, okay? That's what we're going to use here. So you want to just stretch it down the line and carefully roll it in. And sometimes stretching it a little bit helps it to go in, because sometimes it might be a little bit tight. Another important tip to help keep you from cutting your screen is you want to try to roll along the back side of the frame. If you start rolling in towards the inside like this, it's easy to get the roller to cut right on that frame and just cut your screen. So I'm going to pull the spline a little bit. That's going to help roll her in. Now I cut the screen a little bit right here, but it's on the back side of the spline. I heard it kind of cutting. It's not on the inside, it's on the outside, and this is going to be cut off anyways. That's why I say have the roller the way I do. When it comes time to turn the corner, make sure the screen is rolled out flat still, and you're basically just going to make the corner here, and then we're going to push it in with a screwdriver. Again, see the screwdriver's on the back side or the outside of the spline in case it tears the screen where it's going to be cut off again anyways. Little loose spots can happen, and you may have to back the spline back out a little bit and then redo it. But be careful when you do that, because you may just start down a rabbit hole. Sometimes you have to give yourself a little bit of, well, the screen isn't going to be perfect like a factory stamped screen. And also, if you make it too tight, you can warp the frame. So don't be like, well, I'm going to just pull it really tight then so there's no loose spots. You want it pretty flat. The screen to be flat and not, obviously flopping loose, but not yanking it tight either. At this point here, we've got the screen in. That's nice and snug. I don't see any loose spots whatsoever. All right. Taking your time every time you go to spin it and make sure that the screen is laid flat. It is really pays off. All right, we're just going to very carefully cut the spline off there. Use your screwdriver to push it all the way in. And now here, very carefully again, we're going to cut the screen out. Okay. Run it along the outside of the spline. Okay. Getting very close here. The corners are always, we have to come back to the corners and clean that up a little bit. Okay. Now don't just go yanking on the corners. We're going to try to clean them up carefully without cutting yourself. But cut loose the rest of the screen here. There we go. Okay, there we go. We have a screen that's been rebuilt. New corners, new spline, new screen material, no holes. That looks very clean and very nice. Thanks for joining me on this project here. I hope this helped you guys to rebuild your own screens. But if you guys know how to do this, then you can do it yourself and save yourself some money. Maybe just take some pride in repairing your house. I hope you like this video. Please share this video so others can, learn from it and enjoy it as well. You guys have a great one.